Right, there you go. I did a tech test earlier, and I thought I would, off the back of that, just sort of put myself out there a little bit and see how it went, really. Because you guys asked for like live streams and stuff like that, which is entirely all right and entirely up to you. You know, you can do that. That's the thing you can do. But yeah, if I'm going to do that, I kind of need to do that, really. I need to put this all over the place. Let's stick this out there. Right, like that on Discord. I need to change that cover. I need to change that title. It's not helpful. Using Restream to get this in multiple places, so that means that, obviously, I'm kind of not, what's the word? Not in full control of everything. It's doing its own thing, which is fine. That's, you know, I've got a lot to learn, but we're trying stuff out. I need to put this up here as well. There's so many places people don't tell you. So they like, you know, start out, try things, do the YouTubes, what could go wrong, and yeah, then you end up actually doing it, and you have to kind of figure a lot of stuff out, which is quite daunting. I mean, I'm not exactly scared of technology, but when you're actually doing it and filling in while you're typing out stuff, it can be a little bit daunting. Anyway. Right, like that. Do I need to stick this? I probably need to stick this so many other places. I'm probably not going to do that. There's 4 of you watching. Good evening. How are you all? Oh, we got a thumbs up. That's nice. That's exciting. Yeah, so the idea will be, the theory, the concept of this will be that I will, in time, do more things like this, do more live streaming, because it's what the cool kids do, and I clearly am one. So let me have it. Don't ruin it. And then we're going to talk about all the latest news and bits and pieces and MacGuffin that are going on in the world, and yeah, generally all that good stuff. So that's the theory. For tonight, I'm going to turn off that. For tonight, I am going to just make sure this all works, make sure that my PC doesn't have a medium-sized breakdown, which is possible, if not likely, with the way my gear works at the moment. Nope, I don't want that. I want that. Oh, so complicated. So yeah, there we go. I think it's working. I think this is working, which is kind of weird. Something post, what's up? I'm rather quiet. Thank you, that's what I need. I need to look at how I can boost that. It's something to do with the way that my PC is getting information in. Let me see if I can do this off here. Try that. That might be, in 5 minutes when it gets to you, better. Let me know if it is. Because there is, of course, a delay. Let me know if that's better. I've boosted it anyway. Contaminator. Hi. Welcome. My first comment on a live. That's kind of cool. If a bit weird. Hopefully that's a bit louder. I should also turn my volume up. It's one of these things where you're doing something for the first time and it's all a little bit daunting, but it's the reason I keep doing jazz hands. Ever the professional. But yeah, let me know if that helps. Let me know if that's any better. Let's get rid of my face so I don't need to see that. Bad enough you guys are. Anyway, is that any better? Let me know, Contaminator. I would appreciate your input. And how is everybody? Because we've got some people watching. There's 5. There are 5 of you. Thank you for joining. That is very exciting. Very weird. And hi, Chris Sexton, over on Patreon. This is, oh, yeah, loud and clear. Fantastic. That's good to hear. That's better. I can't tell the difference. Might be an input gain you need to adjust. Very good on this end. Contaminator is clearly my audio doesn't like you. It's nothing personal from my end. It's just my technology. I to tell you. But good to know. I will give that a crack and see if I can figure out why. It may be input gain. You're quite right. I just need to figure out which bit of the software's doing it, because there is always, like with a lot of the stuff that I'm working, where it's all playing together, you can never be entirely sure which is. Anyway, I won't bore you. It's cool. How are we all anyway? How is everybody? How are we all doing? Is everything going well with you? And what hobby are you doing? That's a more pertinent question, because that's kind of interesting. Goodness, what's this? I'm sorry, just a wealth of information coming in at the moment. Totally professional at all times, without exception. Oof. There. Right, I think we're good. I think I'm all organised. Anyway, so how is everybody? What are you all up to? Is everyone hobbying tonight? I should be editing a video and starting to work on these guys, because we've got I think I said to my patrons and members, I've got a escalation league that starts on the 1st of September. I actually have 2, because I don't like myself. I have 2 escalation leagues, one running for bolt action and one running for Infinity, starting on the 1st of September. So I have to sort out armies for both of them, because my bolt action does need painting, and I've decided to do a brand new army for Infinity at the same time. I don't know why. So to be clear, I'm TOing these 2 events, which I think we have 32 players in total across the 2 systems, 12 on bolt action, 20 on Infinity. I TO am playing in both of them. I couldn't tell you why. I can tell you it's not a good idea. I can tell you something you should definitely never do. But anyway, so especially like with my, I'm running Shinden Butai for Infinity, and that is really early days of painting. This is a Tanuki who's part painted. We've got another Senku who, on top of being part painted, is never going to see the table, because Senku were pretty rubbish. And that's me being incredibly polite, because it's my first stream. But they still need painting. So we're still going to get it done. Through Ninja. Little laggy and odd tiny glitches. Could be lots of things, but I found that streaming via a hardwired connection works much better. 3 minutes shed, thank you for the hint. I am hardwired, interestingly. So I don't entirely know what's going on there. I'll need to check that out, but the volume needs to be a little higher. For the time being, I shall project. I shall channel my inner thespian. Thankfully, the wife is in bed in another part of the house, and that kind of thing is fine. So Chris Sexton, you're looking to give a buddy army some love taps this Thursday night. Outstanding. Love taps are important to give to a friend. It reminds them that they're important to you in your world as you slap them across the table. I find this crucial. Something you should definitely indulge in whenever possible. Yeah, I only used to mid-afternoon to work on painting my friend Shaz and assembling some of my... First, painting a friend's Shaz Contaminator, you're a scholar and a gentleman. If you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, your friend doesn't deserve you, you're too kind. Is it the old style Shaz or the new style Shaz? The old style, completely bonkers, but I do love the new. I do have to say, they are very nice. And assembling some Corregidor. I approve. Corregidor is the way forward. My last, not last game, but the game prior to that, I was running Corregidor, and it always feels good to get corgis on the table. I just have so much fun playing them. It's the whole bit where you put something down on the table and your opponent goes, clearly this is the trick. This is what he's going to do to me. He's brought on the airborne deployment trooper, and then you go, there's another one, there's another one. It's a joy. It's a joy to behold. 3 men in a shed. I'm wired. I am, in fact, I'm on a 100 megabit connection from here to my fiber optic. There's going to be lag somewhere. I need to find it. Just need to dig in to that. So we shall find out. We shall find out what's going on. It's something. It is a thing. Not entirely sure why. It's just doing it to vex me, I'm fairly sure. But hey ho, it's all good. This is, like I said, this is more a tech test than me trying to do this. I want to say seriously. I'm going to do it seriously, but I want to find these problems now rather than when I'm trying to do it, when I've got like a structure for the stream, because that's the plan. Let's talk about that plan for a minute, because that's kind of exciting. The plan from here, so I'm whipping through screens here because I have so many different screens with so many different things on them. New play here. I bought Sandtrap. Should I get the essential starter set as well? Oh, no stuff. Been a lot of fun so far. Contaminator, that's good to hear. The new stuff of Shaz is phenomenal. Overboard, you've got Sandtrap. Should you get the essential starters? So they don't mix. It's a weird one. If you've gone into Sandtrap with either Shinden or with Kestrel, then the contents of the Start Here box aren't compatible. You have normal Fusiliers rather than Fennec Fusiliers, and you have an Orc which doesn't go into Kestrel. I don't play them, so I keep forgetting their name. And if you're doing the JSA side of things, then you have normal Kaitotsu rather than Senku, which they don't go together. They aren't available. And you have a Shikami, which doesn't go into Shinden either. So they are actually completely incompatible. But one thing that is compatible is the terrain that you get inside of the Start Here box. So it depends whether you're planning to go with lots of terrain, whether you've got a table already, whether you play somewhere else, stuff like that. The terrain in there is quite nice and it does work. It's probably one of the few things other than the dice that does work with Sandtrap is the terrain. So it's entirely up to you, but if you're just trying to build your model count out, there are better ways to do it. The Beyond box is better for Sandtrap, and then some of the, like the Shinden Mutai expansion packs, expansion pack alpha and reinforcements, whatever they're called, those are much better. They will fit much tighter with your Sandtrap, and also the older miniatures are a little bit. Can I show? We've got some old Fusiliers here. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try. So this is a Senku, and this is an old style Fusilier, and they're a little bit shorter. They're a little bit off on scale. So actually the stuff in Start Here is a little bit smaller as a whole than the stuff in Sandtrap. So yeah, try and stick with the, if you're going to go down the route of Shinden, which you should, or Kestrel, which you shouldn't, because they're the bad guys. In that situation, you should definitely stick with the proper expansion sets that CB have released. Okay, I'm just looking forward to dropping 3 tags that are going to say peekaboo and then late. My friend, Mr. Sexton, there is never a moment in life when placing 3 tags on a table is a bad idea. Never. Anyone that tells you that it is a bad idea has been on the receiving end of it rather than the giving end of it, and that's a them problem, not a you problem. So, because that's 2 Salamandras, and I can't remember what your third one is. I don't know what the third one is. That would be cool. Rorschach. To be or not to be? That is the question every time I throw the dang dice, and it's normally not to be. Anyway, that's a me problem. Everyone, you are most welcome. The thing is, one of the videos we've got coming up soon, TM, is which factions to start with in Infinity, because it's a frickin' minefield out there. Back in the day, when the world was young and I had less grey hair, I was still old even then, but anyway, you could buy a starter box of 6 miniatures, and then you could expand that with other boxes, which, like, for example, the way it would have worked back in the day is you'd have bought 6 miniatures that are inside of Sandtrap, and part of that would be your Senku with combi rifle, and then you'd get a box of Senku released, which would have like the heavy machine gun and the paramedic and these specific sculpts in. It's called an SWC box, an expansion box. and that was good for building out your light infantry fire teams. And then you get a box of, say, Tanuki. So your medium infantry fire team, you get a box of those, which would also bolt into a Tanuki that was in the box for your starter, all this kind of thing. And at some point, so you then have individual blisters with individual miniatures in to expand that. There was a point where Corvus Belli realised that having over 30 factions, each with their own boxes and each with their own expansions, was just too many. It wasn't viable for them to hold that many SKUs, that many product codes, and asking retailers to do it as well was just not a thing because they couldn't. It was just too much. So they've kind of smushed them together, and we've ended up with these expansion boxes, which 90% of the time drive me sideways in frustration, and the rest of the time they're kind of okay. I get why they did it. It's a necessary evil. If we're going to have a game this big and they're going to be a company of that size, I get it, but it's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. Building jackboots and bidocs. Oh, an O12 boy. And not just an O12 boy, a shiny, shiny, brand new O12 boy. I see how it is. Have you built the Vidoc on the... Do I say it? I'm going to say it. She's surfing on a fridge door. I think it's the Vidoc with the sniper rifle that looks like she stood on a refrigerator door and just... I owned Torchlight for a while, Torchlight Brigade for a while, and that miniature I couldn't take seriously. I wanted to. It's like, this is kind of a useful... I can't. I kept all of the rest of it, but surfing on a fridge door, she got sold. Speaking of tags, I'm hoping Anaconda gets a rework with the new model so I can... well, no, we're getting a new Anaconda. We're getting a new Anaconda. That's the thing that's coming. We know this. This is done. Hang on a second. I might be able to show you. I can't believe you haven't seen it. As if you don't spend as much time as me caring about Infinity stuff. I am shocked in you, Contaminator. It's just... Probably best you don't speak again, young man. I'm very disappointed. Young person, one shouldn't assume. Yeah, where did I put my picture? I have a picture of the new Anaconda. They've reworked it. It's unlike the rework of the Iguana, which, not for me. Unlike that, the Anaconda works, in my opinion. And the reason that it works is because it kind of looks like the original. Oh, just don't know about the new profile. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I guess so. I guess they probably will rework the profile, but, you know, we'll see. When MRF is back. I wish the French were back. I do. I miss my French. I sold them to a good friend of mine called Joe. Man's a legend. Wish I didn't sell them. Anyway, I'm going to be intrigued to see how the old factions come back into the game. We shall see. There's a lot of room for them to mess it up, bluntly, and I hope they don't. But yeah, we'll see. What's your take on all these vehicles they are adding? Some look cool and others look weird. Will vehicles be OP like flyers in 40k? No. Yeah, the new vehicle class. Jet bikes for everybody. Woo! Apart from the people, you don't get them because we don't like you. What do I think about the new vehicles? I think that it's an interesting idea. I think adding in new stuff to the game is inherently a good thing. Okay, let's get that done first, because I think it is. What Corvus Belli is not doing is sitting on it and just saying it's good enough, you know? What they're doing is they're trying some different stuff. They're putting some different things out in the world, and I really appreciate that. I think that's really, really good. However, the vehicles... I don't think it's me being an old man screaming at a cloud. They're just a bit... Because some of them are just meh, and some of them are filth. And there doesn't seem to be anything in between. But I'm not scared of any of them. A good friend of mine, so I mentioned the Escalation League earlier, Ring Shinden, I know that he's got the Pano Red Eye, and he's going to chuck it at me. It's a given. This is something that's coming. And where I'm sat, so our first round in the Isolation League is 250 points, and that is, I think, about 40 points that he's going to put on the table. My current thought process is okay, so that's 40 points I can just delete in turn one, which is not a good place to be for my opponent of how I look at that vehicle, but that's how I see them. They're too vulnerable, they're too big a target. That's just how I feel about them, but we shall see. Ask me post that game, because he's also one of the best players I know, so we shall see. Anyway, yeah, because I haven't 80 yet. I hope so with the new profile, but as to what it will be, who knows? What are my thoughts on running 4 geckos? I think that whichever deity you believe in, you should pray to for your soul if you're going to run 4. I've run 3, which is totally different. I think running 3 and a Harris with an additional one is just a little bit extreme. I don't know what the 4th one's going to do, because if you've got orders, I'd pump it into the fire team rather than a hanger honor. But yeah, I don't think I'd run 4. I think I'd build in more stuff around the geckos, engineers, hackers, things to cover them off. Unless you're running 400 points. No, I still wouldn't do it then. I still wouldn't do it then. If I had 400 points, I'd stick in the Harris of 3 geckos, and then I'd slap an iguana on it, so you get the repeater on the iguana. I think you still get a repeater on an iguana. I'm just going to check that now, because I think that's still in there. But yeah, the repeater and the iguana is really, really useful, because a lot of people don't know or don't register that one until they get close to it and try and hack it, and then suddenly, yeah, it's still got a repeater. This makes me happy. So they don't register it until it's there, so you've kind of got this tag with built-in primary counter defense, which is kind of cool. But I wouldn't run the 4. She's up next. I'm not sure. I like the sculpt. Like the sculpt on which one? I missed that. The Anaconda, or no, because that's not out yet. Oh, the Vidocq with the yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, it was one of those. There's sometimes Corvus Belli bring out a miniature, and you look at it, and it either is, so these guys here, these Tanuki, it's a functional sculpt. Okay, I got a guy. He's got a machine gun, and he's running. I'm absolutely fine with that. That works for me all day long. We have stuff that is kind of cool. Do I have one to hand? Do I have one that I think is cool to hand? Not really. Yeah, not really to... no, okay. I don't know if you can see it. I've forgotten what she's called, but the HMG that goes in Shindebutai as well, she's an absolute beast. I love the pose, just the at-rest HMG, the blades down her side, the casual kind of ominous pending violence. Ah, no, there it is. That's the cool one. The Bow Ninja. It's just this cool, dynamic, dramatic pose. It says everything that it should do, for me, about a ninja. It has that drama, it has that awesomeness. And then we have this guy. He's sort of stood in the box, he's sort of leaning forward, he's got one gun in the air, one gun pointing down. I don't know, it just doesn't, it's doing too much, it doesn't work for me. And sometimes they drop these sculpts, it's just like, I don't know why you did that. Fair play, it's what you wanted to do, I'm glad you're happy. Not a choice I'd have made. Not a choice I'd have made, but you know, that's CV for you. Sometimes they nail it and other times, yeah. No. Are they making cards for all the units? No, those will only be available in the products marked with Essentials. So the idea is that when you're learning the game, you do it with Essentials, and Essentials just squeezes everything into those cards, and in theory makes it accessible, which it mostly does, which is fantastic. The idea is you then migrate from those cards to Infinity Army, and that's where you build your armies going forward, which is what most people do. The cards are purely there to help you learn and play. When you have them done and you start using Army, then you get a printout with it all in, or you can run it from you can run your lists in game mode in the app, which equally great. No two ways about that. Nice and simple. But no, the cards are purely there to get you rolling effectively. They're not there for you to use with everything, if you see what I mean. I can't remember the play button is now. That's really annoying. There we go, the big play word. So you have, like, I don't know if this is going to work. This is going to be a big ask. So there we have, there's the play version of Army if you've not seen it before. So you can open something up and it just brings you the stats and then all the weapon stats underneath it. You go lower a little bit, there we go. So, and then you can give them states, so if somebody gets shot, you can give them no wounding cap, unconscious or dead if they have it available. So that is kind of the idea that you migrate from those cards onto either the app or the printed version. I am old. I'm not old, that's not fair. I prefer the printed version because I often run camo markers, need to note down which numbered camo marker belongs to which person, etc, etc. So I prefer doing it printed, but we're not going to be seeing cards all across the board. Flyers, I feel they're a little all eggs in one basket. Yeah, they are, and some of them are absolutely stonking. Some of them you look at and you think, damn, I don't know why you wouldn't. And then I look at some of the other flyers and it's kind of like, I don't know why you would. I think the Red Eye from Pano, let's get this right. So Red Eye from Pano, 6 armor, 2 structure, mimetism -6, super jump jet propulsion of course, super jump +3, so 7-inch zip. But 8-2 movement, BS-13 with a Spitfire chain rifle and Blitzen or Spitfire chain rifle and grenade launcher. It is 44 or 45 points. So it's not cheap, but that's a lot of like DACA utility. The -6 to hit is really nice. The 6 armor is crunchy. It's going to take a bit of chewing through. Now, if I remember, I think, was it the Yuching one that I just did not care for? I think it was. Yes, it was. So it's cheaper, 28 or 35 points. Mimetism -6 still. Armor 3. 2 structure. Sensor is nice. Sensor is nice. I would definitely give it that. But EM carbine +2 burst, flash pulse, arc light cannon, or multi rifle +1 burst, adhesive launcher +1 burst. A Spitfire and chain rifle, to me, has more offensive capability than an EM carbine, flash pulse, arc light cannon. It's just not the same thing. And yes, it's cheaper. Yeah, get that, totally agree. But some of them are just amazing, but some of them are just bleh. Yep, no problems overboard. One of the weird things with Corvus Belli is they're incredibly enthusiastic about communicating what they're doing and about their products, and really, really bad at it simultaneously. Now, I know they've got a new marketing team that are heading up the company now, which is cool. But I still think sometimes the way that they communicate things is a little bit sort of nothing. And there's no kind of follow-up, you know? Reader Sculpt from CB, Roller Girl. Yeah, Roller Girl, I'm not anything that has, I mean, this is a minor example, but like the little ninja with a bit of a roof. We have ninjas with lots of roof, I know, this is small roof, but sometimes they just bring out sculpts, so it's kind of like, and yeah, this dipstick sat on top of a wall. I don't want a whole piece of wall. I don't want wall. I have wall now. The problem with this kind of thing, and come back to Roller Girl in a minute because that was dumb, but the problem I have with this is my Shinden were originally, I had in my head this whole vision of making them very based in sand terrain and having lots of like rocks and plants and cacti and all this kind of really kind of Wild West kind of. There was a wild moment where I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sculpt duster jackets and all of them. I was like, that'd be so cool. I do not have the capability to do this. Let's be blunt. Let's be honest. I am not sculpting anything. That's not a thing that this does. But I had the idea. And then having them all stood in this kind of Wild West looking environment would be really... And then you've got a dipstick sat on a cyber wall. Now, yeah, I could potentially put him onto a rock or whatever, But in my head, he's always going to be on that cyber wall. And when you get like people stuck on roofs, I just know. I wish they wouldn't do it. But no, the roller girl is a new type of hell. I don't understand entirely why they did that. It's not the brightest thing in the universe to do. It doesn't, yeah, no, don't do that. Do anything but not that. Yeah, so let's see if we can find her. Because we all need a giggle. There she is. Oh, if you haven't witnessed the greatness of this miniature, let's see whether I can get this right. Be in awe. Look at her. That is just everything you want from your life, isn't it? Right there. An HVT that comes with a piece of wall. Glorious. No need for that whatsoever. But you know, it's CB. They have their own. They have their quirks of, you know, the miniatures that they make and their own designs and stuff that they do. And I appreciate it. It's why I love them. It's why I love what they do, because they do their own stuff. It doesn't tend to be. That is a wall. It doesn't tend to be generic Soldier 55. It tends to have some character sense, some sort of unique thing about them, and I love that for them. And that does mean that sometimes they put stuff out and I'm just like, okay, thanks for that, appreciate you. But yeah, you can't have it all. You can't have it all. You can't have like amazing uniquely designed miniatures and without them sometimes doing something you don't like, bluntly. Yeah, I'm drinking a whole wall. Clearly, I mean, what lady doesn't like to, what person doesn't like to accessorize themselves with a whole piece of masonry? It's a look. Makes tactical walk to a whole new level. Abso-frackin-lutely. By the way, if there's random huffing, puffing and excitement, I've got 2 dogs sleeping here. That's why. I'm not getting overexcited at all this. That's what's going on. Cool. I should really, I've got a whole load of bases down here that I need to prep. Toppers that need to go on these, and I should really do that. And yeah, I'm not. I'm talking to you lot. Here we go. So yeah, I've got to get all these bases together. I've started them. They're going okay. A good friend of mine printed them off, and they're pretty. These are saucermen. Ooh! Good evening. I know who that ooh is from. But I should really be getting those all organised and sorted, but I'm not. I just realised I haven't put it out. So that, it's really annoying. Stream with RTMP, OBS, VMAX. Ugh. I know Sandtrap came with JSN Panic, but I really want to collect LF. What would you recommend for a great start with them? Oh god, right. Overboard. Look into my eyes, look nowhere else, just look right here. Tier lists are a subjective take based on people's individual metas. And whilst it may suggest that some armies are better than others, never ever let anyone stop you from playing something based on their subjective take in their local meta. Play what you like and love it. You will be fine. This is Infinity, this is not 40k. Sidebar on tier lists. They are interesting, and I do tend to watch the tier list stuff, and there are so many times. So for example, there was a period of time up to this day where it was made very, very clear that Combined Army was S tier, simply the best. Oh my goodness. And in my local meta, the Combined players were having a really rough time and getting slapped around the board. A good player with a bad army will absolutely mess up a new or medium grade player with an S tier army, because it is how you put your list together. It's how you play that. It's how you play the mission. It's not as simple as I take combined army generic, I win. It's not. So don't let those tier lists majorly influence you. It's really unhelpful, and it is the thief of joy in this game. We had this in N3 with a whole lot of people came over in 40k, and we really started getting this whole listing thing, and it's really unhelpful, because I saw so many people be like, I really want to run this army, but they're so bad at the moment. I'm like, they're not. Some guy in the back of Beyond can't make them work. That doesn't mean they're bad, it means that he can't make them work. You know? Invincible Army at the moment are in an increasingly strong place. They're not my playstyle. I don't like them. I can't make them work. I don't want to make them work. That doesn't make them bad. So, Aleph. You wish to come to the good side. Bravo, good choice. Which flavour of Aleph interests you? Is it the Greeks or is it the robots? Vedic side, as it's technically called. Let me know and we shall answer. Mwah. 3 minutes shared. Just spent a glorious few hours last week cutting the limited edition Varangian off his iceberg. Bravo. Bravo. As I've said in my videos many, many times, I lack, by any shadow of a doubt, I lack the patience to do serious sculpting. I know it's true. I'm just not happening. I wish it was. It's not. I'm not built that way. So I applaud your capability. I lack it. This ninja, it needs to come off this piece of roof. I don't like it. It's not coming off the piece of roof. I'm going to figure out a way to make it work. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to figure it out. I guess it's time to deep dive into list building. Still working on learning the mechanics. Get the mechanics right first. Mechanics first, list writing next. Because list writing doesn't make any sense and gets very, very complicated if you don't know the rules. Because there's going to be a whole load of things that you're paying points for or not paying points for based on how it all fits together. And if you don't understand what those various rules are, it's not really a thing, is it? You're just going to swamp yourself. So get your rules down first. Play with basic, simple. Make your life easy. Come back to the rest later. It'll be there. Nishi's side. She's always in cafe. Yes, yes, she is. Are you watching the same bridge as I? S tier doesn't equal win. No, it doesn't. And I'd love to agree with them. There's so many times that I watch some really talented and intelligent and capable creators, and we had this the other day. Robert Shepherd did his Shindamutai, and I did my Shindamutai, and we agree on like these bits here, and on these bits we're completely in opposite ends. He was very keen on the Monstrucker, Yojimbo, and something else that was a regular. He was like, yeah, you know, you can get these in the list. I can't. I do not like to put that volume of irregular troopers in a list. It is too restrictive, because the argument of, well, you always have an order that you have to spend on your Monstrucker. I don't always want to activate my cheap engineer. I don't. And if I don't want to activate my cheap engineer, I have to spend a command token to convert that irregular order to... I don't have very many command tokens. So I don't want to do that, thank you very much. I would rather have, even sometimes controversial, a Senku. It's cheap, but it's a regular order. That regular order is useful, you know? Tier list. Yes, I had that same convo with a mate who's crying about Ariadna. Now, yeah, Ariadna are in a messed up place. I'm sorry, I'm going all the way, and I'm siding with your friend on Ariadna on that one. Why am I siding with your friend on Ariadna on that one? Simply, when we had that conversion from N4 to N5, there have been a lot of units which have been converted to N5. They have been N5ified, and you can see that because there's been a growth in keywords and special terms and equipment and special abilities and all this kind of skills and that are lumped into these profiles that have just been expanded out. They've just been built on. Talked about it before. And profiles. They have this and this and this and this and this. And then you look at Ariadna, and what's kind of happened is it feels like the trainee went at them with crayons. It's like, is it good? No, it's not. No, it's really not. That's, yeah. I'm not looking forward to doing the faction focuses for Ariadna because I don't like, bluntly, to put out negativity. I don't. And I look at most, in fact, I had a run through of all of Ariadna and things like TAC, so Tartary, US Ariadna, Cosmoflot. When I look at them, it's kind of, I can see things that I can do with those lists. I can see things that I can, put together. But in that, none of it's as good as I can do with the worst of generic Pano. I do a bad job of sticking a generic Pano list together, and I am going to blend an Ariadna list that I spent 2 hours working on. This is not good. They're just lacking. They're lacking coherency. They're lacking options. They're lacking, like, when you look at the way that certain things go together. Shindig Butai is possibly one of the most knotty ones, but they have a flow to them. If you look at the way that the units sit together and the ideas and the concepts behind them. Don't get me started, Contaminator. Don't get me started. There'll be tears. We'll come back to that. It feels like there's synergy inside of Shindig Butai when you look at running Tanuki with Rushi, with Yamabushi. Those three troopers, you stick them together and they form a Harris fire team that is coherent, and it has this flexibility in this all, this flow basically. When you look at what you do with Ariadna, it's kind of, I have Dave and Kevin and Richard, and they're friends. And that's not a way to put a fire team together. You kind of have to nail it together and squeeze a bit in. It's not as clean, and that's a real shame. So, Chris Sexton, this will be available on YouTube, in the live section. I don't know. I guess it'll also be on Twitch too, because I'm putting it out on Twitch. I was just like carpet bomb. The world is ready for me. Here I am, darlings. I don't know whether I'm ready for the world, but here we are. Anyway, Contaminator. Yes, abso-fracking-lutely. When we shifted to 15 models, the big thing for Ariadna stopped. So it was a curse and a blessing. For those new to the game, sit down. This is story time. Here we go. We're going back to N2, N3, especially, and a little bit of N4, but mainly N2 and N3. I ran Merovingian quite heavily in N2 and especially in N3. Loved it. Bit of French, baguettes everywhere. Fantastic. Now, the great thing about them was, and the reason they also got nerfed at the same time, or got slapped around so badly with M5 and a little bit with M4, was that my standard Merovingian list was 24 orders. So 24 models on deck. Not only was it 24 orders, but a whole chunk of that was infiltrating camo tokens, which brought camo tokens with them. Mines normally. That meant that if you were a new player and you pitched up with a 24 trooper Merovingian list, you're not finishing a game in 4 hours. You have to. I'll see you later. If you're off, Chris, I'll see you later. It will be. I'll link it into Patreon and to the members. There'll be an update link so you can watch it. If you're not good, it's nice when people agree with me, because there's always the worry that I'm talking complete rubbish. I am, but at least I'm not alone. Anyway, so it used to be that if you weren't good at doing that, then if you couldn't run those lists, people would see them and they'd run them and then fail abysmally. And it would be a bad experience for their opponent, because if it takes you 45 minutes to set up, because is number one I don't know, it became a real issue. And so I understand putting that 15 trooper limit on the game, it makes sense. It just smooths things off nicely, and I appreciate that. But what it meant was we started to see a lot more expensive units coming into Ariadne, and you can see that with Cosmoflot, you can see that to a degree with TAC as well. They brought more expensive units, which is not what Ariadne was for. It was as close to a spam army as you could get. Now you can still do it a little bit with TAC to this day. I used to have a list, so I had TAC for a while, but I felt too dirty running it, so I sold it. But I had a list with TAC that was 21 camo markers. This was towards the end of N4. 21 camo markers, 3 bikes, and a dude. Poof. This was my deployment with decoys, with mines, with like doggos and everything, just woof across the table, and it was glorious. But again, if you're not quick, it becomes a problem. So I get it. I just wish they hadn't, because it kind of took away their purpose, their reason for being there. Maybe the revamp of US Ariadne will bring them hope. I don't know. I hope so. US Ariadne is my least favourite Ariadne sectorial. Let's get that out of the way for a second. I'm not a fan of it on the whole. But if that's what they're going to redo, that's fine. But if they are going to redo it, you're still going to hit that problem of the 5 trooper limit. 15 trooper limit. 5, dear God. 15 trooper limit. That's going to be a problem. I was Eld falling there for a minute. It's only 5. It's still going to be a fundamental problem. It's a design issue for them. And if you don't have that, lots of cheap troopers on the ground as their flavour, then what is Ariadne's flavour? They can't be, they could be, I guess, camo spam, but we've kind of got that with Shaz. You can also do that with White Banner. No, not White Banner. One of the Yuqing ones can do it. You can kind of do it with the JSA as well. You can do camo spam already. Medium infantry, we have that covered. Light infantry, we have an unhackable heavy infantry. I guess that's kind of their thing, but again, it's not very Ariadne. Okay, overboard. I haven't decided on the LF sectorial. I may just go generic. I need to read up some more. I bought N2 in both N3 books and have a bid on N4 book. Or you want to get to the lore? There is a lot of lore. My days, there is a lot of lore. I have the whole thing from N1 all the way up over there. So much, which is great. Aleph. So you kind of have with Aleph the Greek side of things is very, very combat orientated. You need to be ultra aggressive with that. It's not a army that benefits from subtlety. So when you start building in the Greek side of things, you start building in the need to do the violence, basically. So you have to be prepared from the get-go to get in your opponent's face and then rip it off. That's what you're there to do. With the Vedic side, with the robot-y type side, there is more subtlety, there is more panache, but it is very much an elite army. You will have heavy stuff that you beat the enemy with, and it will outclass them, but it will never outnumber them, and that's kind of where you are with it. So I'm just looking at generic for the time being. So you do have, it is mostly, looking at this, this is mostly Vedic, apart from a couple of bits and pieces. Anything more towards the bottom? Myrmidons, Hippolyta, Penthesilea. Most of this is Vedic, which is kind of cool. So what do we think about this? Dakini tac bots, let's start with the kind of light infantry equivalent. Dakini tac bots are the generic light infantry for LF. I love them. Anything that's 6-4 moving with mimetism -3, peak. Gotta love that. The fact as well that they're remotes, so you can't just knock them to dead, you have to knock them down and knock them down again. Very, very useful. When you have the capability of taking a paramedic for 15 points, now yes, it's whip 13, which is not awful, that moves 6-4 with mimetism, this is good. There's no two ways about it, this is good. Can you also take, you can take the Dakini variants like the Dewan, which is the close assault version. Your opponents will not thank you for hitting them with that. And the Rickshaw, which is the gunfighting version. So I like the Rickshaw. 16 moving again, BS 13, mimetism -3, again, it's remote presence, so again, all the way down. ECM hacker -3, which is really, really nice. You can get for 20 points and 1.5 SWC, a heavy rocket launcher, or for 24 points and 1 SWC, a Red Fury. I like the Red Fury. It's a really, really cool loadout. BS 13, the mimetism -3 on a Red Fury that moves 6-2. Yes. Yes, please. We like that all day. It's also arm 3, which is not to be sniffed at. So you stick this guy in cover, it's mimetism -6 effective and armor 6 effective. That's going to take some digging out. And if you do dig the damn thing out, it was only 24 points anyway, so no one really cares. And it's probably only an unconscious 1, so you can stand back up as soon as an engineer wafts past and sort of waggles his fingers at it. They're great. I love those. If I was going to do this, I'd actually start with the Vedic side and go with the I think it's the Aleph Action Pack, because that's got mostly Vedic stuff in there, which mostly you can take in here. You've got the Yadu in there, Shukra can go in there, the Dakini can go in here. You've kind of got all that good stuff. As from there, it would depend how you want to play it. And the Rudra is in here as well. So yeah, I'd actually go off and get the Aleph generic action pack, and that would do the job. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Maybe related to the troop limit, how do you think you can balance horde armies versus time to play with any war game? As I feel it's a common thing in a lot of games. Oof, you can't. Next question. No, that's incredibly unhelpful. You're welcome. So, the problem is, by definition, that horde armies have a skill requirement to run them efficiently. And you can't legislate for that, and it's a real problem. It is a real issue. It's why, so like in bolt action, you put limits on the number of dice that people can have. So every unit inside a bolt action has a dice, and those dice are called order dice, and they go in a bag, and you draw them out for activations. There are real horde armies inside of that game. You stop that by basically saying you're only allowed this many dice in the bag. Inside of Infinity, they've done it by saying you're allowed this many troopers in your list. I don't think that you can really balance it, because when it starts getting to having a large number of things that you need to activate, if you don't have the experience, you don't know the rules, or your decision-making process is slow, the more you have, the longer it takes. And there's nothing you can do about that without just saying, no, you're not having it. You know, until you've played this game for 12 years, it's not going to happen. So the Essentials Pack, right, let me have a look at the Essentials Pack, my friend. Let me check that out for you, because I can't remember what's in the Essentials Pack for LF. Is there an Essentials Pack for LF? There probably is. I've just probably not been keeping up, because that's probably my whole shtick at the moment. I'm not seeing Essentials for LF. Let's look at what they've got. They probably are bringing something out, because that's kind of their thing. So the LF Operations, Operation S, OSS, call it OSS for goodness sake. Lean into it, guys. The OSS pack is probably a good buy. That 10 miniature list, there's some things that I'd add to it, but as a starting point, Apsara, Shakti, Naga is useful, Deva is going to be useful, the Rudra and the 3 Dakinis. You've got the core of a good generic list there, so worth it. That would be the way that would go. So I assume you can run. It's very interesting me looking at my phone when I talk to you, isn't it? I assume you can run 3D. Yeah, you have total abilities on Dakinis, so you're absolutely fine. Denavas Hacker. I have a Denavas in it. It did, didn't it? Deva, Nega. Yeah. So that would be, yeah, that would be the way that I would go to start off with. Because you can have the Deva and kill a hacker. Yeah, definitely, definitely. That would be the way that would go. Action pack, 100%. I wonder if there is room for Ariadne in general to have more units that work like the Antipode. Now, is it Antipode or Antipode? I always call them Antipodes, but then it's like Harris. I've been doing it too long to change now, and my ego refuses to allow me to consider the fact that I'm wrong. Multiple winches, but still keeping a low order count. There are several things in the game that have that functionality. Papa Tactica is one. The posthumans for Aleph, that's another one. You kind of have these, you have the option to do that. The problem is with that, for that to work, you have to limit the number of orders that come off that, and you end up with a situation where you can order starve it, or it has to stick together, which makes it vulnerable. The thing about Antipodes or Antipodes is that you fire them at the opponent and you don't care. Because if they get to your opponent, all hell breaks loose. There's bits and pieces everywhere. Everyone's being called a good boy, patted on the head, and it's great. If they don't, they will invariably have caused such blind panic and terror inside of the enemy that they will have sucked resources out of them anyway and done their job that way. You know, you can win by killing the enemy. You can also win by making them inefficient and stop them from doing what they want to do. So there are ways and there's ways. But I don't know, how would they tie that in? I'd like them to. I would like to get back to a situation where we have Ariadne with that horde type feel. I used to love running Merovingian metros, 5 of them, in a fire team. Now, how can we still? I don't think I can see it anymore because they're gone from the list, aren't they? They were stupid, like 14 points for a heavy machine gun. It was ridiculous, like 14 points for a heavy machine gun and 0.5 SWC with total availability. So you get 5 of them, bear with me, and you end up with a core fire team of 5 troopers, all with heavy machine guns, for like less than about 70 points and 2.5 SWC. And hilarity followed. Because they weren't worth killing, but you couldn't leave them alive. It was great. I loved it. That kind of spam, fab. But that's kind of dead now. You Russians in bolt action. Yeah. I've yet, thankfully, to face Russians in bolt action. It's going to happen, and I think I'm going to run out of bullets because that's the thing, isn't it? But spammy armies are interesting and cool to run, but I think there has to be, I don't know, a degree of sanity, and I think the mechanics of the game have to facilitate smooth, quick play. Bolt action does to an extent, but if somebody goes stupid, if you let them go stupid and they have 25 plus order dice, like the rule of call. Arjuna and Dakinis. So Dakinis, I love Dakinis. Dakinis are so much fun. They're a rampant pain in the ass and they're glorious. I mostly run OSS because I like Bench Gamer. Yeah, I've heard that. This is kind of a tech test, so thank you for the feedback. I'm going to be taking that on board. I'm going to be looking at this later and seeing if I can up the gumptions, basically. Okay, so overboard. Arjuna or Dakini, are they good? I'm back to projecting for you. Is that better? No. Dakinis. Dakinis in OSS. 4-man, this is old school, but 4-man fire team with a Deva with a Spitfire on top. Peak. I think these days it would have to be 3 Dakinis and a Deva, because what you do is you give, so the Deva is no slouch when it comes to shooting, okay? I'm going to put this together on the app as we speak, you lucky ducks. So Deva functionary, take the Spitfire with multi-spectral visor level 2, slap that in there. Then we take a Dakini TACBot paramedic. Sometimes, if I'm feeling cheeky, I'll take the grenade launcher because that can be fun. And then another normal Dakini. Now those I believe, remain. Yep, they are matched. So you have a pure fire team there. So what we then have is a Dev functionary that gets +1 BS because there's 4 matched troopers in the fire team. So that's BS 13 with a Spitfire with MSV2. If you need to discover anything, you've got MSV2, so you don't care about any mimetism that it has. You whip 15 natively, but in the fire team, you whip 18. So if you get within, what, 8 inches of it, you auto-discover it anyway. You've got specialists in that fire team. You've got 1 specialist in that fire team. You've got a grenade launcher for the giggles if you want. And this is 72 points and 2 SWC. You start off with the Dever up front, and then you can, at some point, just drop them from the fire team and go running off across the board with the Devers, the Takinis to do violence. That's definitely an option. Absolutely love that fire team. So much fun. With regards to the Arjuna, I love it. I love the Arjuna. I think it's fantastic. It's a shame these days you can't take the 2. You used to be able to take 2 of the Kirin bots. I want to say they're called Kirin bots. But I think you can only take 1 now, which is really annoying. Where are you? Arjuna. There we go. Yeah, so they're all attack aware, which is really, really awesome. 16 movement, BS 12 is great. Mimetism -3 is fab. Arm 3 is cool. Only 1 Vita, which, okay, that's not perfect. But the Spitfire with D charges, these are medium infantry, specialist operatives, so they can do missions. They've got the Kirin bot, so we can do taking out and like immobilizing things and zapping them and all that kind of stuff. The Arjuna is a really, really cool unit. The only problem that I have with it, and there is a problem, is this is an elite army, and there are, every time that I've played, there's been something a little bit better than the Arjuna I just wanted to take, because if I don't take that and I take this instead, this is better, just because of this particular rule. So I love the Arjuna, but I'm not sure that it's the best thing in the world. But Takinis definitely. Takinis, never leave home without them. Seriously. Rule of Cool is definitely the way to go in Infinity. Hell yes. I can never take him on list. Yeah, here's 3 toys. You can't use them, but here's 3 toys. Thanks, CB. Loving your work. Yeah, any time. So Riot Stopper, big template glue gun. That's, if you've not had the pleasure, don't kill him, stick him to the floor. Yay! Overboard, that's, you are more than welcome. Anytime, it's not a problem. Like I said, I know this game is, so all the years I've been getting people involved in this game, it is so easy to get out in the weeds, to listen to 500 people with 700 different opinions and get completely lost in the mass of it. It's so easily done. So I can completely relate to that, and yeah, I don't blame you. I'd rather take 2 minutes to give you an over-enthusiastic view than for you to go off and get involved with something that doesn't feel nice when you play it. I've seen that happen to too many people. And I'm not just talking about something that you get and it's rubbish. I mean something that you get that it's great, but it's not what you want. That's kind of worse. I've seen people do that. I've seen people, not thankfully in my local community, but in my wider extended community, who've heard about how great everything with Combined is. They've gone out, bought Combined, and then realised what the playstyle is and don't like it. We, our local gaming store, the owner of that, so we've just adopted a new gaming store. The one we've just adopted, I started buying Bolt Action from him. We got talking, he got into buying Infinity, and he turned around and sort of said, okay, the only way that I can really support the community, because we've got, as of this week, as of next week, getting on for 50 active Infinity players. He wants to support it. He's a businessman. The only way I can do that is if I learn to play the game. So that helps. And so we had a good long chat about what he liked to do and how he liked to play and what kind of things he finds fun. And from that, we got what would be good for him to play. And it wasn't based on, It wasn't kind of based on what's tier out there at the moment. It was based on, you like doing this to people, have you make a corregidor? He hadn't, and he looked at the miniatures and went, they're freaking cool. I went, yes, they freaking are. So he bought more corregidor than is technically healthy for one person to own. He's a store owner, it's entirely onto him. But it's nice to take that time and just say, look, don't look at what everyone else is doing. Tell me what you like, and then we'll make that happen from there and make the decision from there. It's kind of more helpful. There's a couple of cool robots in the action pack. Guess I can settle for those. There are always cool robots inside of OSS and inside of LF. It's kind of the shtick. And if you don't love the Murat, there is something wrong with you in your soul. I got nothing else to add. That's it. That's the whole thing. The only downside actually of the Murat is that the standard one is Siocast, which is, it's Siocast, let's be honest. But I have both the standard version and the special edition version, so at some point when I have them painted in 2040, we're going to do a bat rep with them, 2 Murats, one board, glorious. Walker Maximus running. He can run in generic. I think he can run it all actually, because he was the new hotness. So you'll find overboard that CB do this. They get the new hotness, whatever that may be, and then it goes in everything, because it goes in everything. Of course, it clearly does. Yeah, Maximus is in everything. It's OSS. He's in Steel Phalanx, I think. Where are you? Where are you? Is he not? No, he's not. I stand corrected. So he's not in Steel Phalanx. We've got a game, Agamemnon. The Atreides. Yeah, I thought he was in all of them. He's not. So he's only in generic. Maximus is in generic and OSS. And it's very cool. And he can run lots of other things as well. He can run lots of other things. So yes, he's well worth having. He is well worth having. And a cool miniature as well. So that's always nice, let's be honest. 2 men, 1 table. I probably did. 2 Murats, 2 Murats, 2 Murats, 1 table. So the Murat, if you've not seen it, it's a glorious machine of war. It's actually what started me playing. So the original Murat is what started me playing Infinity. I was leaving 40k at the end of 5th edition, because I looked at 6th edition. I was a Blood Angel player. That was my whole shtick. And 5th ended and 6th came out, and we went, Blood Angels went from being angels of death screaming from the heavens to a red ultramarine, which, is my dog just groaned, is not what we were playing, people. That's not the whole thing. So I decided to leave. I was looking at various systems all over the place, and I came across this Spanish game called Infinity, which I'd not really heard of. And I started looking at it, and I came to this picture of a Murat. That was that, really. It was love. As soon as I saw that, because she had, at that point, she had bunny ears, forearms, boobs, combat heels, and a booty to die for. Now, none of the sexualization of the robot did it for me, but the comedy did. I was like, this is nuts. This is completely stupid. And having been playing so seriously for so long, looking at a system that was, by all accounts, crunchy, intensive, fun, but clearly did not take itself too seriously, I was in. I was good. I just sold several hundred Blood Angels. I had money to burn. In we went. We didn't look back. So the Murat, definitely. Negative play experience will ruin anybody's job. Yeah, it's just, and it's so easily done. It's so easily done. It's so disappointing. When you see I mean, if you've been in the game any period of time, been in the game, son, any period of time, if you've been playing Infinity any period of time, you will have seen and you will have heard from people who have experienced noob stomping. Oh, don't worry, mate. Come on, I'll just teach you the game. It won't take long. Schlap. What you need to do is get slapped around the table until you learn the game. Yeah, no, that's not a thing. Not with, there's certain games where you can do that. I would argue Bolt Action possibly one of them, because why not? It's a fun little game. But when it comes to Infinity, it's so intensive to play. Getting your face stoved in repeatedly week after week just takes your soul. It's not worth it. Rubbish. Don't do that. Horrible. Negative play experiences. Nope, nope, nope. All positivity. It was the Dog Warriors, a Mobile Brigada for me, back when the Dog Warriors were just resculpted. They were glorious miniatures. The Dog Warriors were absolutely glorious. And to be honest with you, I love the Dog Warriors. So if you've not seen Dog Warriors for Ariadna, these are little dudes. Let's find a picture. We're doing it on the phone. We're going to be more professional at this as this goes along. So I'm going to sit and talk to you and do it on my computer instead. Tonight we're doing it here. So the thing that I love about Dog Warriors is that they are, from memory, quite hard to kill. Let's get a picture up. So hang on, where are we? There we are. Yeah, there we go. Dog Warriors. So just focus. There we go. So there's the Dog Warriors. So what you have is you have your two ordinary guys, and they go running off around the field. And then if the enemy is dumb enough to shoot them, which is not a thing you should say, but if you're dumb enough to shoot them, then they turn into big werewolves, and then they really get angry. They're brilliant. I'm completely contaminated when it comes to Dog Warriors. Completely with you. One of the few that I haven't owned that I wished I did. Are also piloted, or are there large robot suits? Overboard, if you're referring to Aleph, our Lord and Master Aleph. Aleph is the AI that runs humanity. It is the benevolent lover and protector of all of us. And so what you see are aspects of the AI piloting those individual things. Now, some of them have personalities and they have different types of AI within them, various grades and qualities. So they go from L hosts, which are kind of the human-looking ones, devas and stuff like that, all the way down to dakinis and lower. So they are, when it comes to Aleph, they are all piloted. They are all AI. None of them, there are no people really in Aleph. So all robots, all cyborgs, I guess. No, robots. So, Siocast, the good that just... Oh, you're a bad man, 3 men in a shed. You're bad men? Anyway. Yeah, Siocast. What to say about Siocast? It's... There are companies that have got Siocast right, and there are companies that have not got Siocast right. And Corvus Belli has not got Siocast right. And yet they're charging like they got it perfect. It's a worry. It's a real worry. We still have it very heavily in Warcrow, and it is holding that system back while they persist in putting out Siocast. The goo that just keeps giving. Yeah, they persist in putting out Warcrow on Siocast, and it's just... They're beautiful sculpts, then it comes out in this trash material. What's my view on Siocast versus Unicool? Unicool is better than Siocast, but they are still both fragile. And that is my main concern of Unicool. So I had, over my shoulder, I've got a Rushi, the new Rushi and the new Luduan. And this is the second lot that I've owned. And the first one that I owned, I dropped the Luduan from... it just, you know when you've got something, you pick it up and it's just on the edge of your finger and it just flips off. And Can I reach it? I can probably. I'm going for a walk. Wait there. Oh, this is exciting. There we go. So, story time. So this guy. Let's get me back on screen. So this guy, there he is. Lovely little Luduan. Look at that. If I could work my body, this would be better. So you see the front of this gun here, this bit just here. That is a single piece down the front there. But it sheared off, it shattered. Just the very tip of the barrel. It fell sideways, it hit like this. And just the tip of the barrel must have hit a little bit first. And just sheared off. It shouldn't shatter. There's no other way of putting it. It's a wargaming piece. This is a game piece. It shouldn't shatter. And that's Unicool. That is a Unicool miniature right there. Yeah, I know. They are much, much better to clean than Siocast. They're much better to prep than Siocast. But I'm still not... When you drop a metal miniature, for the most part, the concern is for the impact site, not for the miniature. Whatever that lands on, better be okay. But with both Siocast and Unicool, they both have issues for me. I prefer Unicool massively for the prep and how clean it is and how sharp it is by comparison to Sio. But Unicool is not perfect, and if you're going to own it, which you're going to, because Corvus Belli is going to make you, then you need to be mindful of the fact, don't drop it, and it will shatter given the opportunity. So just be careful. Woohoo! 5th edition Leavers Party. Show. Isn't Corvus Belli moving away from Siocast? Magic Duck, yes they are. I love your name. I'm a complete sucker for anything with duck in it. I don't know why. I've got a very old gaming group that, well, God, we must be, I don't know, 13, 14 years or so going now. And the name has always been the full Mallard. So your duck name, Peak. Isn't Corvus Belli moving away from Siocast? Yes, they are, but certain key products are still being made in Siocast, and as I understand it, if it's made in Siocast now, it's going to continue to be made in Siocast. They bought machines, they have machines and training on site. That, I get the impression, is why. They would, I think, make their money back very quickly if they ditched it. Because I know people that won't buy their product because it's Siocast. It's a problem. Yeah, the new iguana I think is Unicool. It's it's that kind of grey colour. Should look roughly like this. I love the fact I have a light here, it's a little battery light that has decided now for the first time ever to run out of batteries. Glorious. But yeah, it should be this sort of dark grey, and it'll be really crisp and stuff, and that's Unicool. It's good stuff. It is good stuff. It's better than Siocast by a long way, but just be mindful of the fact that it doesn't react well to sharp landings. Should I look at getting Ensong for the lore as well? Overboard, it depends how far you really, really, really want to go with this, because there is a mass of lore, but it's like when you go back to N2, N2 is a lot of the lore from N1 with a bit more on top. And you kind of have, this is the entire background of this faction that you need to know because you've not read this before, because this is a brand new edition. Yay! Well, I read it in the last edition. All right, same again, fine. And we progress the story, just this little bit here. So Ensong is interesting because it deals with, from memory, the end of the Combined Army Human Sphere war-ish. So it's interesting. It will get you up to speed of kind of the last things that happened in N4 and that part of the universe. But The big law book will get you up to date with the current stuff, although it's not got every faction in it. So, yeah, it's interesting. I can't remember if you're looking for. Are you looking for LF fluff in there? Because I think that's the end song one is mostly. I want to say it's mostly Steel Phalanx, but if it is, let me know. Let me know which faction you're looking for, and I'll check, see if they're in there. Of course, I would say that about Aleph. Aleph are the good guys. Aleph is my first faction. What are you trying to say? Do we need to get some monitoring just to make sure you're expressing approved opinions, young man? I don't want to do it. We're here to support you and help you. But if you make me... Anyway, Magic Duck. Hips would be optimal, but that's a big investment, or so I've heard. Yeah. The thing is that you can get this amazing technology. We see it bluntly with GW. They have, for the most part, stunning miniatures. Now that Failcast has been taken to the car park and shot in the head, you have beautiful work coming out of them. There's no two ways about that. But it has, you know, a cost associated with it. And that, you know, that's a problem, end of the day. So, yeah. Right, one of the Siocast selling points is that you can reuse your waste product, but some companies have worked out that it's not as simple as bin diving for one more run. Yeah, Siocast being able to reuse its waste is great from an environmental standpoint, and it's something that we should all be mindful of. Just grown up hat on for a minute, we should be mindful of our consumption, and this is not, I mean, this is plastic. It's made from dinosaur, you know? This is not a good thing. So them being able to reuse their waste product is really, really good. But if arguably the whole run is waste product because of the quality that's coming out of it, I saw a lovely, a horrible image earlier on the Warcrow community in Facebook of a guy that's got a mispack. He's got the same torso of CNN Elf. Now, it's not the problem is not just that he has a mispack, because you can get the mispack replaced. The problem is that the head on one of them is substantially larger than the head on the other. These are the same miniature. Not only did it go out the door incorrectly packed, but it shows off failures of that product. And it's so disappointing. It is so disappointing. Warcrow is so cool. If you've been with the channel any period of time, you know that I had Hoopu on quite a bit towards the start. She's a friend. I love the work that the team has done in developing this game. And then they brought this product out to market that... I did a deep dive in it recently and sort of a retrospective. I did a retrospective on it and talked about the issues that it's faced, but it's so disappointing because it could have been great. And it is not the rules really that are letting it down. It's not the setting. It's not anything to do with gameplay. It's the physical product. It's just, as you'll find, the community feels that Warcrow is too damn expensive and too damn janky. And it's Siocast is causing that issue, so. I have to know, that's a fair move. Why not both? Because I'm surely a spy for one of them. Anyway, for those who don't know, Aleph and Nomad's direct opposition. Because there's some new players here. There are some new people here. Oh, there's 7 of you. How come there's 7 of you? What, do you not have anything better to do with your evening? My goodness. Right. Hello, Doro. What are the ITS season tournament pack? Is it something that everyone buys after they learn a game? No, you don't need it. Leave it alone. Back away slowly. Don't touch it. So, this is an ITS tournament pack. Right here. Let's do this way. Can I love the way. I keep going to the right screen. So what you get, this is used for running tournaments. And what we have in here is the limited edition miniature that you get, which this year is, or this season has been butt ugly. And then some freebies and a wooden spoon, and this is a code that lets you enter the tournament so it's official, and we get some dice and some bits and pieces, and then some cards, sleeves and stuff. This is purely if you want to run a tournament, if that is your objective, you buy one of these and then you can register that tournament online and it gives you prizes to give to people. That's all this is for. The only time that I buy tournament packs is when I run a tournament, when I run a league, or in the very, very rare case where the limited edition miniature inside there I absolutely have to have. So the year that we had the Merit, season 8 where we had the Tic Balang, Tony Makiara, those I bought, but for the most part I haven't, because it's, you know, it's one specific miniature, normally for one or a group of specific factions. So you don't need the ITS mission pack, season pack, sorry. Not gonna lie, Warcrow, that they are beautiful. So yes, Magic Duck, the Warcrow elves, the Warcrow miniatures, they're gorgeous. They're absolutely, you look at them and you think, yeah, that's really cool. And that's the problem, because you get them and you go, what happened? Siocast. That's what happened. Yeah, but what 3 Men in a Shed said. You're a TO, you need the box. O12 and LF, one big happy family. O12 and LF, one big happy family, as long as someone remembers to do as they're told. And it is not LF. I think LF's a really interesting character, really interesting concept inside of the lore. So I don't talk about it. I don't think I talk about it much. Anyway, I write fiction as well. It's something that I'm working on doing for a living. And I kind of want to write some stuff for Infinity. I want to write some short stories and some novels. And I have this novel idea, which is kind of, yeah, it needs to go back in history a little bit, because what I wanted to do was do kind of like that old spy thriller type concept of essentially what I have in my head. I don't even know why I'm telling you this, because it probably won't happen. But essentially what I was thinking was I wanted to write a like Cold War era spy thriller about a speculo killer infiltrating the human sphere and working its way up as a journalist into a position of power. And I kind of had that idea, and then the way that O12 is involved in that, and the way that LF is involved in that, because LF wants to stop the speculo, but allowing the speculo to continue encourages people to see the benefit of LF and stuff like that. You know, LF is this really interesting character because you have that moral ambiguity of, is it the good guy? Is it really? It clearly is, but it's nice to play with the idea that we're not. Take the one, the big head. That'd be more tactically advanced. The gentleman on the Warcrow group was rather emotionally fraught, upset, gruntled in every possible direction with the miniature, and I could see why. I ain't suggesting that. If you want to go to Facebook, find the Warcrow group, you'll find the post that's near the top, just say to him, hey mate, take that one. He'll love it, seriously. You're a brave man. You're a brave man. Anyway. My goodness. I was like, I said to my wife, Lilith, so I'm just going to pop on and check the technology. So I did, and then it worked. And I was like, okay, well maybe I should stream a little bit and just see how it works. And she was like, I'm going to go to bed. I was like, no, that's okay, I'll just do 5-10 minutes. And she was like, no you won't, I'll go to bed. It's nearly 90 minutes, guys. It's quite shocking. What I want to do is, I have a goal button. What does a goal button do? That's exciting. 10. Says timer. Ooh. Okay. Wow, I can incentivize you guys to spend money with me. Yeah. Anyway, that's interesting. Still 7 of you. Seriously? It's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock for me. It's 11 o'clock in the Netherlands. Still have myself on Twitch, so that's a thing. Anyway, yeah. So let's have a quick chat about let's have a quick chat about what we're going to do. Sorry, I've just got into my local group, and apparently a good friend of mine has been watching and has said, my God, it's like an ongoing Hydra voice message, very soothing. Should I do ASMR, guys? Should I just sit here and talk you slowly and gently into your sleep? Bedtime with Hydra. Anyway, right. Porque no los dos. I don't know what that means. My Spanish is terrible. So, three man, explain yourself. Overboard. I have a good question. That implies the questions up to this point have been terrible. I am shocked. It's not the attitude at all overboard. It's all lovely. Anyway, what if you find some older sculpts online used? Are there ways to substitute them with no troubles, or is this frowned upon? No, crack on. As long as they are so right. In Infinity, when it comes to a tournament, you are required by the rules that Corvus Belli sets out to use Corvus Belli miniatures. There is no cap on them. So it's not a case of from the last 6 months. You can use any that you want. The only thing that I would say is ensure that the miniatures that you use are the same silhouette size, new and old. So the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre, him, went from an S2 to an S6 or whatever it is. He went from Tiddy Boy to Chonky Boy, basically. So you could use the old sculpt, but you'd need to rebase it, I guess. That would probably be the way to go. I'm trying to see if I can show you what I mean. Yep, Sepulchre. Knight of the Holy Sepulchre. So the knight went from, let's go back to my, so he went from this, so this little pretty lot of S2 dude, he's quite tween, he's very fancy with his doofer and his stuff, to Captain Chonky Boy. Hello dog. Substantially bigger miniature. So you just want to make sure that there hasn't been an increase in silhouette size, and then really there's no reason that you can't use an older miniature with the new, to be honest with you. Not gonna lie, ASMR Infinity Law would be good. God. I don't think any of us are ready. I don't think any of us are ready. And then Aleph, the good, benevolent, kind Aleph, sacrificed itself with all of its energy and might for you, humanity. Dog, I would suggest if it was going to get any more comfortable, it would have done so already. Lie down. Donut. CB have a good view on proxies. Yeah, exactly. The Knight of the Holy Sepulchre has not skipped leg day or arm day or face day. He got a chunky boy. And why are you looking to Facebook with a spare account? Oh no, what have I done? So yeah, just be aware of that one, but there's no reason that you couldn't use them. I mean, you've got scale. The scale has gone up technically from 28mm to now 34. I think that's the official line, 34, 35mm. Does that mean a great deal in practice? I don't know. Not really. Not anything that I as a TO would be like, you can't do that, it's terrible. No, not going to happen. So, yes, you would be fine. You would be fine. I do find it funny. I did share it with the group just to be like, you know, so I'm on there. But the fact that people actually have joined in is very funny. What? Okay. Sorry, distracted by a random comment. So why are you logging... 3 Men in the Shed, why are you logging into a spare account? If you've got a sock puppet account. I didn't even share this on Facebook. That's probably a good thing, isn't it? It's probably a good thing. I think there's quite enough of you hanging around with me as it stands, without adding more into the mix. Pete's playing. Do you want my whale song impression? No, I'm not doing a whale song impression. That's not a thing. We're not doing that. That I'm not ready for. You're not ready for. So, anyway, coming up, while I've got all of you, how many of you are watching the faction focus videos, and are they useful? Because there are a lot of work, a lot of talking. There's a lot of me involved in it. He has bigger legs than the book. Yes, yes. Oh right, why not both? Oh yeah, that would make sense. I think he does have bigger legs than the Chernobog. I think you're right on that front overboard. The Chernobog is a little bit of a weird chicken walker. I really wish they made an Ed 209 type inspired one rather than Chickeny Chicken Face. That sort of took his inspiration from the Dreadnought from Space Crusade. Oh, I'm old. It's old. Why not both? Yes, always why not both. Always good. I can't remember what that was about, but definitely. Okay, old world and gotcha. Yeah, I really like them, even if I disagree. Contaminator, when you disagree, you're correct. Because it's all subjective. Oh, I need to, I had somebody the other day, they commented on, so, there are very specific things that will make me mute somebody from the channel. There are very specific things. There are things that I will not brook, I will not take. Unrelenting negativity. It happens from time to time. And people trying to, what's the right word? Just be unpleasant for the sake of being unpleasant. So I don't want to swear on this channel, but you can get the idea of what I'm thinking there. Don't be a... And I had somebody comment the other day, you're not a god, you don't know what you're talking about, I don't know what this idiot's going on about, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, remove. Not because I care, because this is toy soldiers. Literally toy soldiers. So there's a limit to the amount that I care, you know, the amount it physically impacts me. But what I don't want is to see that kind of behaviour normalised inside of our community. I do not see value in allowing groups of people to be negative because they have a chip on their shoulder. If you've got legitimate criticism, like Contaminator, if you disagree with me, I want to hear it because I want your opinion. I want to see how you see the world, how you see this game, because that to me is not only interesting, it's valuable. It shows me how somebody with a completely different perspective approaches the same thing and comes to a different conclusion. That is useful. It's a school day. It's something to learn from. It's something to be inspired by. And there's certain times when you get there from somebody and you're like, I didn't even think about that. The reason that I own 2 of these Tanuki with HMGs is I have an idea of 2 Tanuki HMG MSV2 troopers with a Yamabushi and then the Thunderbolt remote that's got a grenade launcher and smoke grenade launcher, sorry, and then smoke grenade on top of the Harris of Tanuki, and then we start shooting everybody with the HMGs and the MSV2. I see no problem with this plan. It's great. Because it's just comedy. But a friend of mine I was talking to, he sort of was like, I didn't even realise that remote had a grenade launcher, a smoke grenade launcher. Yeah, it is. It's great. And it's just one of those things where you see getting input from somebody else, constructive, well, not even constructive, backed, opinions backed with facts, reasons, you know, a reasoned argument for a disagreement. I am here for it. I want that stuff. It's great. But we live in a culture where it's acceptable to just like, you're all wrong. and just scream at a complete stranger on the internet because they're not. I don't have time for that. I will not accept that inside my community, not because it affects me, but because I don't think it's toxic. No, thank you. Go away. Overboard. You're watching the video. Fantastic. This is good. Next up is Bakunin. We are doing Space Nuns. I like a bit of Space Nuns. I don't like a bit of Space Nuns. That's a complete lie. Lilith runs Bakunin, and she does horrible things to me, and they are war crimes. It doesn't stop her, even the fact we're married. I married her in the hope that she would be less violent to me in games. Didn't work. So there's that. But they're a lot of work. I'm glad you're watching them. I'm glad they're interested. And I'm Contaminator. I appreciate you watching them too. I'm pretty useful magic. I appreciate that. That is nice. It's good to hear. Sometimes doing YouTube is just you're just screaming into the void, and it's kind of like, is this useful? Do people care? You know, I did that video that went out on Friday about fire teams. It's got 500 odd views, no comments. It's got some likes, which is nice, but you're kind of like, was it you? Did we not? I don't know. Was it just such a great video that everyone was like, I don't need to comment on that. I just need to go away and contemplate the life-changing information. Do you know what I mean? It's not about being validated. It's about being, was that valuable? Yeah. Anyway, the Chernobyl does have exploding breasts. Not wishing to get too far into such things, there are many features I like of breasts. Exploding is not one of them, but 3 Men in a Shed, if that's what you do in your shed, you get no judgment from the Dice Gods. That's all I'm going to say. There is no judgment here. Probably. There might be a bit of judgment. Medium-sized amount of judgment. Anyway, so there is that. But what else do we have? Oh, I'm certain I have takes you would disagree with, but like I said, it's a game. Even in person, somebody have your experience, I have mine. Exactly, and that's the thing. It's so subjective. It's how you approach the army. It's how you approach the mission. It's the opponent that you face. It's the meta, even down to the way the tables are set up. You look at the way that the American tables are set up, and you look at the way that the UK tables are set up. Look at the way the Dutch tables are set up. Blah blah blah. These tables are different, and that impacts the game. The mission that you're playing impacts the game. Your opponent and their experience impacts the game. The way they approach, blah blah blah. It's interesting and it's valuable to me. It's why I watch tier lists from other content creators, not because I think they're right, but because I think they have value from a academic perspective of, okay, so when I decide to do my world tour of playing Infinity in every country in the world, you know, I've got insight, I've got input on how they might play and how they work, kind of thing. So there's that. My goodness me, I can waffle. Wargaming should be as open and inclusive as we can all make it. Absolutely. It's weird. There's always been this massive amount of self-hate and sort of infighting that happens inside of wargaming. I don't get it. We get so much of it from the outside world. Lilith sent me something on Instagram earlier, and it was talking about GW. I'm just going to mute this a second because you don't need to hear it. Oh my god, yeah. It's when your wife's gone to bed before you, so you open your Instagram and it's sick. So it was a piece about GW saying that they're worth 5 billion, and it was a news piece from Nottingham where it's based, and they were talking about local company, blah 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 blah, now worth 5 billion, blah 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 blah. And they do games where grown men play toy soldiers for victories. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm like, you know, the approach that this news article took, and it frequently happens of organisations that are just like, these grown men playing with toys? Whoa. It's like, yeah, one company is worth 5 billion. This is a big industry. It's growing. You know, I was looking at projections the other day about the fact that, you know, the CCG, your collectible card games, are bigger than wargaming, but they're going to be comparable in the next 3 years in size, and it's billions of dollars globally. Billions are being spent on this stuff. And even though that's the case, even though there's probably hundreds, if not millions, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of wargamers in the world, you still have this stigma of grown men playing with toys. Damn it, are we not past that? Can we not be past that? I wish we could be. I wish we were as a community. We're so down on ourselves and on each other. I wish we could be a little bit more lift everybody up. It's kind of why this channel's here, but that's bad. Somebody was talking bad about GW. Yeah, I know, shocker. GW is a knotty one. So you may have seen that we did a pilot last year for a new show that I wanted to do once a month called Anything But GW. And that wasn't negative about GW. It was just an expression, a mission statement of there is a huge world out there beyond GW, and so many people are stuck in a GW ecosystem, they don't look beyond it. And the idea was we're going to sort of focus on that. I'm going to focus on everything else. And it's the problem with GW, challenge with GW, is where so many of us started, 3 men in the shed, yourself included. And they are increasingly predatory, they're increasingly unpleasant to their players, to content creators around them. They're just not a nice company. And that's really difficult because they are the figurehead for this industry. You know, there are still so many people out there that, you know, they look at an Infinity miniature and go, oh, you play Warhammer, because that's the brand penetration. But they're frequently a bag of poop organisation. It's really difficult because I do want to be positive, but when you have a predatory company at the top of the tree, it's difficult. Do we need playing tips? It's fun. Overboard, I don't know. I think until somebody finds a cure for all types of cancer while playing Star Wars Legion, we're doomed to be regarded as geeks. Or until somebody finally until Peter Jackson gets out there and makes a decent wargaming movie, and then we can have what happened to The Lord of the Rings happen to wargaming, where suddenly everybody loves it and everybody thinks it's cool. I think we're doomed to be basement dwelling, unclean, blah blah blah. It's just disappointing. Can't speak for everybody, but the Infinity community in Atlanta, Georgia has been wonderfully supportive. Great group of people. I wish that for everybody's legal community, and as it should be. Glorious. That makes my soul warm to hear. It's how it should be. God damn. This whole thing. You know, wargaming is about a contract between a whole group of people to get together and have fun. How great is that? How fantastic is that? We get together and we play a game for no reason other than the fun of it. That should be this positive experience. It should be enjoyable. It should be something that we're proud of. And you see, I mean, you've probably seen the stuff out there, the memes, but also the people that are going through the experience with like, yeah, no, my wife doesn't think this is, you know, she's embarrassed of the fact that she won't let me, whatever. It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. I have friends whose partners are derogatory towards their hobby, and I'm like, this is what the person you love does for fun. Celebrate that. Just, you know, we're on this planet for such a vanishingly small amount of time. Find joy when you can and celebrate it. And it sounds like Atlanta, Georgia has got it freaking nailed. If you guys are supportive and lovely and welcoming and warm, that is the dream right there. That is exactly how it should be. It's what I've built with my local community, you know. When we get a new member in, if anyone refers to them as fresh meat, they get a look minimum from me, if not a verbal slap. They're not fresh meat, they're a new player and a friend you didn't know you needed. Grr. Get off my hippie box for a minute. Anyway. So, yeah. So our club has just signed up to How Are You, which is a safe space for registered clubs and societies. The benefits of wargaming on mental health is huge. This is entirely it. 3 Men in the Shed. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about mental health. I have had mental health problems my whole life. And the great thing about wargaming is it puts you into, you build a community around yourself of people that have the same passions as you. You have to. You need someone else to play against. And it gets you out in the fresh air, it gets you meeting people. But beyond that, this is a game that if you are feeling tired and you are wanting peace and quiet, gaming handle in one hand, brush in the other, away we go. You can still hobby. You will generate a group of people around you who will be there to look after you and to support you and to celebrate you, and it puts you in places where you can just have these great routine-breaking experiences that take you out of your life, and you throw some dice for a few hours, and it helps. It's so positive for mental health. With a positive community, see Atlanta, Georgia. So bravo, 3 Men in the Shed. That is really good work. That is really good work that you've signed up to that. And yeah, and more power to you, as it should be. Overboard. You're in Southern Alabama. Go Bama. I think, are we supposed to? I don't know if we're supposed to say that. I just did. You're welcome, one way or the other. I love the way it's such an American thing, because I read what you said there overboard as I'm only about 7 hours away. And as an Englishman, I'm like, oof, it's a bit spicy. If you come to the Netherlands, there's this weird thing, because I found it hilarious when I came here. If they have to go 30 minutes down the road, it gets a bit of a squint. They're like, ooh. If it's an hour, you're basically asking them to go to frickin' Mordor. That's the equivalent of response you get. They're just like, oh, no, don't want to do that. Oh, we have to stay overnight. It's very funny, but I just love the fact that Americans can be like, oh, it's only 7 hours. Quick stretch of the legs, you barely notice you're in the car. Bless you. Sounds like a road trip coming up overboard. So 3 Men in the Shed wargaming. Back in the early 2000s, I was heavily involved in the community GW scene. It was told during a meeting at GW that 72% of their product ends up in landfill. Yep. That's just the sprues. No, I can believe it. I can believe that. It's kind of depressing, especially in the early 2000s, because you think how much all of that would be worth now. But the old Hammer community. I can believe it. I used to have a friend in the UK. She spent her Sunday mornings going to car boot sales. So for our American friends, a field fills up with cars and people sell the stuff they don't want out the back of it, and then you can wander around and buy stuff, and it's always really cheap. She funded all of her holidays every year by going around all these car boot sales and buying up all of the GW stuff, because it was always stupidly cheap. You know, she used to ask me occasionally what was what and all this kind of thing, and she'd send me random pictures of this miniature and that miniature, and you'd kind of be like, right, how much did you spend? Well, I got this whole box here for £12. It's like, right. Well, that miniature's 70, because people would just get rid of them. They just didn't know what they had. It's crazy. Oh, you having a satellite? We've applied for a satellite. I don't know if we'll get it. We haven't had confirmation yet. So, satellite, that's so cool. How many are you going to have for your satellite contaminator? That would be cool. I should come. I'm not coming. Lilith would kill me. So you drive 45 minutes to work. You see, I have no issue with that. I have no issue with driving an hour to work, an hour back. Absolutely fine. No problems whatsoever. But in the Netherlands, that's basically one side of the country to the other, so you can kind of see their point. But you visit family in Michigan once a year, 14 hours away. Yeah, that's a bit of a chalk. That's a bit of a distance, isn't it? I have to say. Has to be said. So, yeah. But yeah, 72% in landfill. That's just absolutely bonkers. Absolutely crazy. Where are we at? Sorry, I'm just making sure that all the stuff that I should have is working. What's this? Very strange. Sorry, I've got a random bot commenting on my Twitch, because we're on Twitch too. An hour and 55 minutes. Guys, I was supposed to be on like 5-10 minutes. This was not the plan. This was not the plan at all. I work 4 days, 4 days. If there's nothing to go to Atlanta for a weekend, it'd be nice. Yay! Look at that. We're going to have two Dice Gods buddies meeting up. This is increasingly bizarre, but I love it. I'm here for it. Overboard, Contaminator. I want pictures. And I want battle reports. Who wins? And a successful one this year with about 48 players. That is cool. I mean, it's a good size. 48 players is a good size for an event, let's be honest. Much as you have the 150 or whatever that can happen, it's great. I think that's fantastic. When a community can get together and get 48 players playing. Peak. I appreciate the live stream. It helped me out. Hey, Overboard, you're more than welcome. No problems whatsoever. I will probably, I don't know, we'll probably be doing this regularly if this is good. I need to sort out the volume, apparently. But you are more than welcome. And I hope to see you again soon, assuming that you're off. But if you're not off, great. But if you are, you know what I mean. I think we now operate a buddy system, so you can be paired with somebody, and it's just nice to know that every Wednesday night someone will come over and say, "How you doing, mate?" It is. It's these kind of initiatives. They get a lot of stick, especially in, shall we say, current era. But it's important, especially, you know, a lot of the wargaming community is male, way less than it used to be, which I'm really glad about. It's nice that we're seeing more women playing. I think that's important. But predominantly it's a male-dominated hobby. And male suicide is still massive. Male mental health is still stigmatized. We don't talk about it in a productive way, I don't think. I don't think we talk about it in a way that's helpful. I've seen so many conversations of mental health. We really should talk about it. Yes, we should. So having that buddy system of just, it sounds stupid, but you know, there's going to come a point where somebody's going to be asked that question on a Wednesday night at just the right moment where they really need that. And that's going to make the difference to somebody, and that is worth it. Doesn't matter how much a lot of people take the pee out of it. It matters in that moment to that person, and that's the important thing. So yeah. Again, another TED Talk. Congratulations, well done. We're getting them all out tonight. I still haven't stuck a single base on a single base, single topper on a single base. I don't even know. I'm sat here like I know how many I need. I don't. But anyway, so yeah, bravo, 3 Man in the Shed. That is something that should be adopted more widely, I think. I see value in that, and I hope that people do. So, which is good. This is good. So, guys, it's getting up to 2 hours, so I'm going to go in a minute because it's 11:30 at night, and on Wednesdays I have the joy in the morning of looking after my 2-year-old. So me and her are going to hang out all morning. It's going to be great. But that does mean if I'm tired, I'm gonna pay for it, because I'm gonna have this little bouncy 2-year-old zipping around me like a cruise missile, and she's adorable, but she's not patient. So, I'm just trying to get my head around the rules and stuff in this building. Yeah, Overboard. Don't forget that tournaments can come later, but going off and spending time with the community, going off and meeting a community and getting some games in versus veterans can be invaluable. I can't remember, do you have local players that are veteran that can teach you, or are you solo and learning on your own? I can't remember. Because I think you have told me, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. But it could be worth just popping over there and trying out and giving it a go. You never know. But live streams, is this useful? 2 hours of me talking complete hoo-ha. Solo, yeah. Go, hang out, play games. It'd be great. Seriously. It'll help immensely. Seeing the game play live and being able to get that interactive questioning going, peak, helps so much. And potentially as well, you can see other players that are playing LF, that are playing generic LF or whatever. I am working so hard at calling it generic rather than vanilla. Anyway, you can hop in the Atlantis Discord and ask questions. Try to find someone. Magic Duck, I hear you on the try to find someone, but I would say if you've got the Atlanta community on your 7-hour away doorstep, Magic Duck, I agree, it's a faster experience with someone. It is, but also you run the risk of, okay, I want you to get involved in this game. Cool, how does it play? I don't know. What are the rules like? And much as you can point them towards my videos, and you're welcome to do so, because that's what they're there for. If you've actually played it and you have some experience and you know some people in the community, that can help, and it can help you pull people in more productively and more helpfully. So, just a thought. Yeah, that's my 10 cents because it's in America. I can do that. So, yes, I really am trying to wrap up and failing abysmally. Is this useful? What sort of stuff do you want from live streams? Because what I'm thinking is when Corvus Belly does their drop of new stuff, then we'll do this and I'll talk about that. And if there's other news and stuff that happens, that we'll do that. And maybe just get together. And I'd like to say that I'm going to hobby, but I know I talk too much. And I talk too much to actually hobby at the same time as doing this, because I can't. You meant something like a Warcrow. Yeah, slightly biased. Warcrows are great. If you can get a Warcrow, perfect. Got to be done. Got to be done. But yeah, what do you guys want from this? You see you next time for another 2-hour live stream. Oh God. I was only going to be here for 10 minutes. I really was. Anyway, let me know. I guess when I put this out, I'll publish this. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Yes, it is. Let me know what you think about this and any suggestions you've got for what we should do. That would be great. I think we had like 7 or 8 people watching at one point, which is crazy because this was unplanned. But I'll try and plan it next time and let you know when it's going to happen, and then we can talk about topics and stuff. I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll put suggestions of topics and things we can talk about into YouTube channel members and Patreons, and then people can say there what they want to do, because that's kind of what that community is for. So anyway, but now, thank you all so much for joining. It was an incredible surprise that so many of you are here. I kind of figured I'd be talking into the void, so it's delightful that I'm not. But I'm now going to try and stick some of these together before I pass out unconscious. I hope you all have a glorious remainder of your day and week. I did this instead of editing the video that was supposed to be going out tonight, so that's going to be a little bit late. There's at least 2, maybe 3 videos coming this week, so look forward to all that. But thank you so much for watching. Take care, and yeah, I will see you all again soon, probably even